Coming up on the Making Waves VO podcast.
But yeah, then I met Kevin, delivered him a Jimmy John's sandwich, and saw his Pro Tools setup and stuff. So, and it's.
Are you serious? That's how you met?
That's literally how it happened. He said something about, oh, you're working on Pro Tools. And I'm like, how does this motherfucking Jimmy John's delivery guy know what Pro Tools is? And sorry for the salty language, but it was that much.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves. Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves. Making waves.
This is the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell.
Welcome to the Making Waves VO podcast. We've got a fun episode today, Bobby. We're going to talk with folks that make money around the voiceover world. They're not coaches, but they do earn ancillary income around the fringes of voiceover without doing the actual voiceover. Now, they do and can do the voiceover work, but this is side hustles that they've attained over the years to help make those ends meet until they're too rich and famous for us, Bobby, to hang out with us anymore.
Because so many people come from so different walks of life outside of voiceover, so it just makes sense to do this.
It does, 100%. The Making Waves VO podcast presented by Full Compass, fullcompass.com.
We know VO.
And Bobby, our first guest, I want to welcome, and I have known this gal for a long time. I want to say we go back to about 2011, I think, 2010, 2011.
Wow.
Somewhere in there, yeah, we have known each other for quite the time. She is a mermaid. She's an audiobook narrator. She's an editor, and she's a social media influencer type person. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Shannon Scott.
Yay!
Hello.
Hey, Shannon.
Hey, how's it going, Bobby?
Real good. Real good. I love your picture of is that your mermaid / nerd picture? Is that what you're calling?
That's just Shannon, on a typical day.
And that's the thing is, I was going to say that photo exemplifies Shannon in so many ways. So for those that do not see Shannon's picture, it is her with a tiara on, and she's got heavy makeup. And then she's also got a mouth of what looks like nerds. Is that Skittles?
Yes,
Nerds?
Correct.
And just making a goofy ass face. And so that is Shannon to me to a T. Half glamorous, half poised, half nuts, half crazy, half goofball, just all of these things.
That is correct, and I'm okay with that. Thank you,
Yes,
Kevin.
Shannon is part glam, part crazy, and that exemplifies her life. And now I said that Shannon and I go way back. So I was directing a play in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee, and I'd posted audition notices, and this gal walks in who I've never seen. In the community theater in Lawrenceburg, you tend to know everybody. And this gal walks in, and she tried out for the role of Catherine in The Foreigner. The play was called The Foreigner. And she tried out for the lead female, Catherine. I'm like, all right, let's see what she's got. And I'm like, okay, she's got. So, Shannon did an amazing job. She landed the role, and we have known each other ever since. Right, Shannon?
That's right. It was one of the best decisions I made.
Were you living in that area that you auditioned?
No, I was not. So my family, my grandfather and my Uncle Joe, they lived there before they passed away. And I used to go visit every year. And I always loved the theater. Whenever I drove by, I would just vision myself acting in there one day. Because It's just so cool. It's just like an old style, like so awesome. And I just just dreamed of performing in there. And then one time I was visiting, and it just so happened that I think it was the year, I think you're right, Kevin, I think it was 2011. It was after I was a mermaid for Ripley's Aquarium, and I was visiting family, helping take care of things and all that jazz, and I saw the billboard for it, auditions tonight at Lawrenceburg Theater. And I'm like, oh, okay. So here we go. We're going to do this. And that's after that, that's what happened. I went in and just did the audition, and I gave it my all, and then I met Kevin, and the rest is history, really.
Oh, that is so cool. So, Shannon, we're talking about areas around voiceover where you can earn money without doing the actual voiceover. And as we mentioned, you narrate audiobooks, you do video game work. Congratulations, by the way, on the Walking Dead series. That is huge in video game work.
Thanks.
That is cool.
I appreciate
That
it.
is just
Thank you.
fantastic. And Shannon flew out to LA. I'm going to brag on her because she won't brag on herself too much. But I know she flew out to LA to do the sessions. She worked with the incomparable Randall Ryan as director on this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so Shannon does, voiceover. She does high level stuff. But Shannon also does work around the voiceover world. Shannon, my question to you, my first question to you is, if you're a voice actor, and I know the answer, so it's fine. That's why we're here today. If you do voiceover, why would you want to pick up extra gigs on the side?
Oh, for me, there's many, many reasons. For one, extra income, of
Ding,
course,
ding,
because
ding, ding.
sometimes things are slow, and you might not be booking, and that's fine. So to pay your bills and whatnot, you need that extra income, right? So there's that. But also, if you're like me and you like to keep on going during the slow periods, you like variety. So you'll like, challenging your mind with different projects and different tasks. And so that is also a reason for me. And yeah, but money is the main thing, right? So
tell us some of the things that you're doing on the side.
So, for starters, we'll keep it in the voiceover realm. I edit audiobooks. I edit all kinds of audio, really. It's not just audiobooks, but anything from the radio imaging to, whatever, cleaning up audio for anybody. I edit video. I also do marketing for people. So I've
wonder who that
done
would be.
Kevin's marketing for a while, and I've written the podcast, the episodes.
Yeah, Shannon does the write-ups for the podcasts.
And yeah, I just do like little tasks like that. You just think outside the box, right? Because people don't always want to do their stuff. They have a lot of shit going on. Oops, sorry. I'm a sailor. They have a lot of stuff going on, and I help them just because it's not only extra income, but it's fun for me because I like I said, I like doing multiple things, so it just keeps me active. And yeah, does that make
It does.
sense?
Shannon, you do a lot of audiobook editing. So let's break it down between writing stuff and now I know you also are starting to do some social media stuff. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, so when it comes to social media stuff, I like putting together, think of it like a campaign. You have your different areas. Every so often, people, they need to see you, right? They need to see what you're doing. You need to stay active on the platform. But let's be honest, social media sucks, especially for us performers, because that's what we want to do. We want to perform. We don't want to sit there and stay on the computer thinking about, crap, what am I going to post today? Or, what is my theme going to be? So I try to come up with themes for people and help them reach outside of the box to not think of just posting about me, but how we can post to make it about everybody else and to bring them into your world. And so, yeah, I make some posts and all kinds of things for people, visually and written out. So I like to mix them up,
What are the biggest social media outlets that you work in? Is it LinkedIn, TikTok?
I like to focus on Instagram.
Okay.
I think Instagram is my biggest one. And yeah, TikTok is kind of there, but I like to help people think about what to do on TikTok versus actually doing it for them. So I help people just brainstorm more on how they can keep active and stuff when it comes to TikTok. But Instagram is my main go-to.
I love it. Shannon, we're going to let you go in just 1 second. One final question, though, before we wrap up with you and bring Jayson Traver on. What area of, the fringes do you make your most extra income? Not voiceover, but is it editing? Is it doing social media? Is it writing?
It's a mixture. It depends on how dedicated I am to each of them, right? So at the moment, I am dedicated my time completely to something completely random, and it's huge, but I haven't released it yet. So I've been very quiet online, and I've been doing very minimal work for everybody. So, but with that said, when it's busy and I'm actively pursuing things, I would say that it would be the writing. I think, for sure.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Now, the audiobooks, though, they are consistent. So if you want a very consistent, piece of work, I would say audiobooks, because, they're always out there. And that's a long project, too.
Yeah.
And how'd you connect with folks to get those opportunities? I know you and I, it was organic. We just met. So it's a relationships mostly probably?
Mostly, but there's also companies you can reach out to, right? So there's actual audiobook editing companies that will take care of the whole process for people, for publishing companies and things like that. Depending on that company, you could have a full-time position or a part-time position. It really just depends on you. But yeah, there's dedicated companies to help people. So I kind of steer towards them first.
So Shannon, if somebody did want to reach out to you directly to do some of these things for them, how would they do that?
Yeah, absolutely. You would contact me via email is probably the best one. And that is thatgirl@simplyshannon.scott.com. THATGIRL @simplyshannon.scott.com.
Love it. Love it. Shannon, thanks so much for your time. We're going to let you get back to your hustle and your grind, and we will talk to you again in just a little while, probably.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for having me. Have a great day, everybody, and have an awesome one.
Thanks, Shannon.
Bye.
All right, bye, you guys.
Bye. And the Making Waves VO podcast, we'll be right back.
Hey everyone, David Toback, COO of the Global Voice Acting Academy, also creator of the GVA Rate Guide and a voice actor, and you're listening to the Making Waves VO podcast.
Bobby, so we've been talking about a lot on podcasts lately about the quality of our audio and what can be a death knell for a voice actor if they have audio quality that is not up to snuff, up to par, as good as everybody else. Oh my gosh, what do we do, Bobby, if we're not sure about our audio quality?
Well, you go to the experts, of course. And I'm talking about the folks at fullcompass.com. Not only do they know the equipment, but they know the business, and they've been doing this for decades and decades. So when you go on social media and say, okay, who has this microphone, or what do you think? Why not just call fullcompass.com and say, tell me about this microphone, or how can I improve my sound if it's doing this? I'm telling you, they know their stuff.
They do know their stuff. Like, let's say you're in your booth and you're getting some echoes or a little bit too much reflection. Talk to the folks at Full Compass, because they can say, hey, let's do a little test. Let's hear how things are sounding. And they may go, oh, you need some new bass traps, or oh, you need some foam, or hey, maybe you would be interested in this new microphone. P.S., Bobby, at Full Compass right now, they are having a fall clearance sale.
There you go.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Up to 88% off. Up to 88% off right now at Full Compass. And now I'm not talking about just, rando stuff. I'm talking about they've got Neumann microphones on sale. They've got Focusrite interfaces on sale. They've got Shure interfaces on sale. Everything a voice actor needs, chances are you're going to find it on sale right now at Full Compass.
fullcompass.com. They also do packages that they put together where you can get even more savings. So go check them out, fullcompass.com.
Click on the banner that says Fall Clearance Sale, and then you can sort the pages. You can display it however you want to, but make sure you check it out. Make sure your sound is up to snuff, up to par, up to being as good as everybody else. Like Bobby said, go to Full Compass, fullcompass.com.
We know VO. Now back to the podcast.
We're going to be talking to Lacy Deline in just a couple of minutes as well. And Lacy edits with me and does some writing projects as well and makes some ancillary income otherwise. We're going to chat with her in just a second. But right now, we're going to bring into the room Jayson Traver. Jayson is my right hand. He is my rock. He is my security blanket. Jayson works with me every single day and just keeps things going in the background. Now, Jayson is not currently a voice actor, but Jayson works with voiceover every single day of his life, pretty much, and makes money on the fringes of voiceover without it being actual voiceover work. Jayson Traver, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Great to talk to you. Yeah, it's been a minute. Just check in and see how things are going.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're doing all this stuff with a new baby in the house, too. How's that going?
It's going. It makes me very glad that I don't have to record any vocals in here because it wouldn't be possible, actually. So,
Yes.
Jayson, would you describe basically your day-to-day job?
I could, yeah. So I have a number of things through you, Kev, and K2 Media Productions. And so throughout the day, we work with a company and I edit a lot of voiceover for an e-learning company. And that takes up part of the job. And the rest of it usually goes to working for automotive marketing company. And I produce commercials, TV, and some radios, but mostly TV and digital commercials. I do all the audio for that. So basically I'm given a video from the editors and there's no sound to it. And then I take y'all's VO and I make it sound nice with music and sound effects and the like and whatever it requires.
I was just going to say, do you have a schedule of these things? Do you have certain time where you're actually working on one thing? Is it all planned out, I guess I should say, or do you just do it as it comes in?
It's probably the hot factor, right, Jayson?
When it gets busy, which it is a good amount of the month, it's just a mad dash and just basically, it's like a bop it, you smack or whack-a-mole, something pops up, you take that and, if I'm busy with Strong one day, but I also have like 10 course revisions for the other company, then I'm like, okay, I'm going to exit out of my session for Strong. Then I'm going to open up, find these files, do what I need to do. And hopefully I get like 10 minutes to do that in between commercial jobs. So yeah, it's just a mad dash and it's just, nothing, no structure besides the fact that I'm at my desk between, 9 and 5 and sometimes more. So.
And Jayson is an example of those that come from the music industry and find their way in voiceover somehow. And again, he is somebody that has come from the music world and has made a living in the voiceover side. And I'm going to go to Cliff Zellman as another example. Most everybody in the voiceover world knows Cliff Zellman. Cliff was a music producer. He produced soundtracks for movies and stuff like that. And then he just kind of segued into producing commercial audio and has made a career out of that. And that's what Jayson is doing right now. Now, Jayson, I want to bring up a couple of other opportunities that have come your way because of being involved in the voiceover world. And it also ties into your music background. And I'm talking about some jingle singing. Will you describe just a couple of the opportunities you've gotten to do jingle work? We don't have to talk numbers or anything like that, but we know you've made a little extra jingle on the jingles.
Yeah, absolutely. I've done, I think, well, we'll see about one, but yeah, one definite recent one, or I'm sorry, words are getting mixed up. It's so early. But yeah, recently I did one for a dealership and it's just a simple, kind of 3.5 second thing, but it was fun. And, so I have a background in music. I could kind of come up with the thing and kind of make up do a 4 or 5 part harmony with myself. And it's pretty easy. I mean, compared to other things I've done. I've recorded whole bands before, and it's quite an undertaking. It is fun. It's a whole nother process, but I do enjoy doing this kind of stuff, and doing jingles and recording just stuff on a smaller scale because it's easier and there's less people to deal with.
How does that work with usage if you're a jingle singer? I see them on pay to play, if you can sing, blah, blah, blah. But how does that work in them using? Is it in perpetuity? Is there something you have to sign, or is it pretty much like a one and done kind of thing?
Well, Kevin can probably help answer that, but
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, and we won't talk numbers, but I wasn't expecting, because it was for the marketing company that we work for, or that we basically were contractors of. So, it's kind of like on a handshake deal. And I wasn't expecting as much as, but I'm not, Kevin's been in the business a long time. So he kind of talked to them on my behalf and got twice as much as what I would expect,
He's the negotiator.
Yes.
I often wonder if in a former life I could have been an agent, but I think that's too much to deal with and too much stress. But Bobby,
Never say never.
Yeah, you never know. But Jason's being super humble, and Jason is he doesn't know this side of the world like we do. And Jason produced this really cool jingle that the dealership loved and the agency loved. And to Jason's point, he's like, Kev, we kind of work for them already. And is this kind of part of the deal? I know that's what he was thinking. Is that part of the deal? And I'm like, no, man, this is usage, and they're going to use it to make money. So I'm going to try to get you some money. And like he said, I asked for and got about twice as much of what he thought in his head that it might be worth. So, I think Jason's a humble guy too. And Jason's never going to want to rock the boat. And Jason toes the corporate line better than anybody I've ever had working with me. So, and I love all these things about Jason, but Jason deserved to be paid.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And to have the extra money is very, very cool too.
Yeah, especially with a little baby.
Everything is in diapers.
Yeah, exactly. How did you get into the video editing game? I mean, what was your background on that?
I just taught myself, but I don't do the editing for the company, for the marketing company. There's a whole team of editors, and they kind of just pepper me throughout the month just at will with videos. And then basically I just take over and make and then create all the sound and mix the sound of the voiceover and everything else. So
very cool.
But I do edit only because when I first started working for Kevin, when I had a little bit less to do, he would have me do some editing, a video editing project.
Like
so
a lot of social media stuff.
Yeah. So I can do it, but I prefer to stick with just the audio realm.
But Jason he's a slick video editor as well, but he doesn't. Now the time's just not there. And P.S. We're not in COVID, so we're not twiddling our thumbs as much as we were 4 years ago.
Yeah, for sure. So
yeah.
This is the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell. I'm George Washington III, voice actor, and I know they appreciate you listening.
But Jason, what I wanted to ask you before I let you go, and this might be beneficial to those that are up and coming or have been in voiceover for a while. What have you learned over these years of editing audio? Maybe as an audio editor, what makes your job easier? Or what advice might you have for a voice actor that might make your job easier? Or what have you heard over these years that, is a common theme that you could go, you know what, they would do better if they all did this?
Ooh, I don't know. I have a lot of advice for a bunch of things, especially even just recording voiceover.
Yeah, what is it? Anything, man.
Sometimes from clients, sometimes even like the on camera. Sometimes we get on camera talent that's hired out by somebody else, so they're kind of their own thing, and just some people just don't pay enough attention to the quality of audio they're getting and really dive into it. Get on a nice pair of headphones, record something, check it, and make sure you're not hearing an air conditioner. You're not getting room reflections that you can't. It's tough to hear if you're just monitoring in the room because the room has reflections anyway when you're playing it through speakers. But that's just one of the things. I don't know, just kind of be not as crazy as me maybe about it, but just always be aware. Be aware of your audio, and from time to time, and if you have it dialed in, great. And just from time to time, just double check, because sometimes you never know what happens. And just like, once every like month or two, just make sure the settings, if you have like a special preamp that you're using, just make sure all the settings are the same and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because it seems like every time we've had a casting person on, Kevin, they always say that they throw out so many auditions because of the audio, and I think people just don't realize how important that is when basing their decision.
Yeah, and it's just, and in this day and age, it's so, and relatively speaking, it's so cheap and so easy to get a decent sound. Like, it doesn't have to be, like you're, having a $10,000 tube mic in Ocean Way Studios or anything, but just, it's so easy nowadays. Like, you can get decent stuff for pretty cheap, and there's so much information out there, to teach you and help you dampen reflections and get a good sound. And my mic doesn't sound great because I don't have my room set up for that, but as I'm speaking, you can probably hear the room, but
yeah, but like you said, you're not voicing stuff daily,
No.
you're editing. So
I'm mixing and
What's
editing.
your goal? Where do you want to go with all of this eventually? What, if you could say,
yeah, Jayson. Yeah, where do you want to go? That's what I want to know.
Honestly, it's been a crazy thing, it's over the past, since I met Kevin, we told the story once before, but yeah, I was touring around. I was in a band. I moved to Nashville in like 2014, and I would tour around with my band, and we'd go do, Europe for a couple months a year, and then tour around like the Midwest just mostly. We mostly did our touring in Europe, but I was pretty serious into that. I was broke as a joke, but, enjoying things, and, thought that music was, the thing I was going to just do no matter what. But yeah, then I met Kevin, delivered him a Jimmy John's sandwich, and saw his Pro Tools setup and stuff. So, and it's,
Are you serious? That's how you met?
That's literally how it happened. He said something about, oh, you're working on Pro Tools. And I'm like, how does this motherfucking Jimmy John's delivery guy know what Pro Tools is? And sorry for the salty language, but it was that much. And then he started talking about, he's like, and like I mix bands and stuff sometimes, and I do this, and I EQ, and man, you got to get the mid frequencies right. And I'm like, okay, he knows audio. I could tell already.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we are in Nashville, so there's a decent chance that most, like half of the delivery drivers here probably are musicians.
Swing a dead cat and you'll meet a delivery driver that's also a musician.
Yeah, for sure.
So true. So true.
So anyway, getting back to, I really enjoy what I do. And it's not a thing. Growing up and stuff, my dad was like a stage actor, and he would do stuff, and in college, he used to do voiceover and stuff. So he's a very kind of theater guy. And so I've always been cognizant of, I love movies and TV shows, but also always noticed like commercials and like, kind of like judge them in my head. I was like, I probably would have went a different direction with the music or whatever. But I never would have thought that like me paying attention to that would have like helped me, because I'd actually be like helping produce these things. So it's pretty cool. I like where I'm at. Just want to keep it going,
Just ride the wave right now.
And I like this. I like producing. I enjoy it. The editing stuff, everything is, I'm totally cool with. I can be at home. So just in case there's some kind of meltdown with baby Ellis, I can jump in. But it's under control pretty good. But it's nice to have that. So I do enjoy working from home as well. So
we're glad you do what you do.
Yeah, thank you. I dig it right here. And thank y'all so much for having me.
Yeah. And one thing that I want to tell anybody that's listening that may be considering reaching out, to explore ancillary income opportunities around voiceover, is that one of the key things about Jayson is his attention to making things right, his attention to the audio being right, the sound being right, the mix being right, all these things being right. And it is subjective, right? But once you get to a certain level, there are standards that you don't go below. Jayson, beyond not going below those, he goes above them every time. So that's what you want. If you're going to seek opportunities, make sure that when you're working with somebody that you're doing your absolute best and you're being an answer provider and that you've got somebody's back. And because with Jayson, it's just such a comforting feeling that he runs that side of the business essentially. I keep an eye on it, and I know everything that's happening, but Jayson runs it because Jayson cares. And I think that's the biggest thing is just give a shit. Just give a shit.
That's 100%, Kev. That's and it's it's not as frequent as you'd hope it'd be. But
I know, and that's what's sad.
Yeah, and why do anything? Why do anything? And why? I mean, I know you work to make money, but I mean, have a little bit of pride in what you do. You know, just try to do it the best you can.
Love it.
So if somebody wanted to reach out to you for a jingle singer or just to get your feedback on getting ancillary income, how can they reach you, Jayson?
You could I guess you could send me an email. It's just,
that's best probably.
Yeah. So it's just my name, JaysonTraver@gmail.com, JaysonTraver, because my dad was cheeky and his name was Jay.
Jay's son.
So he said, so he said when he's old and he's senile, if he can remember his own name, I might have a shot at him remembering my name.
Your dad sounds fun.
He's a fun guy. He's a funny gentleman. Yeah.
Yeah. I met Jayson's dad at Jayson's wedding a couple of years ago. And yeah, he's a cool dude. We bonded over a lot of stuff, softball included, because Jayson's dad's a ball player and all these kinds of things. So yeah. Well, Jayson, I'm going to let you get back to chopping up that video and the audio and all those things. Thanks for joining us, man.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Jayson.
Yeah. Nice hanging with y'all. Take care.
All right. We'll see you, bud.
All right. Bye-bye.
Don't go anywhere. The Making Waves VO podcast returns in a moment.
Hey there, this is George the Tech, and you're listening to the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell.
Full Compass is your one-stop destination for cutting-edge audio, video, and lighting solutions. With nearly 50 years of industry expertise, we offer a vast selection of high-quality equipment from microphones, recording interfaces, and software to audio accessories, monitors, headphones, and other pieces to help you find your ideal sound. Our trained product experts are here to help every step of the way with unmatched customer service. You'll also get free same-day shipping, flexible financing options, and a low price guarantee. Visit us online at fullcompass.com or call 800-356-5844 today.
And now, back to Making Waves. And now we're going to bring on our final guest of this episode of the Making Waves VO podcast. We're talking about ancillary areas of income, money you can make working on the fringes of voiceover without it actually being voiceover work. But this gal, not only is she an accomplished voice actor, but she's a singer and she's a fantastic editor and writer. And I don't know what else she does. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Making Waves VO podcast's own Lacy Deline. Lacy.
Hi.
Hi, Lacy.
Hi, Bobby. Hi, Kevin. It's so good to see you guys.
Yeah, and so let me explain to everybody. So Lacy pretty much joins every recording of the podcast in the background because Lacy edits the podcast, and so she monitors the podcast recording and takes notes. And you know, it'll be like, oh, Kevin screwed that up. Let me chop that out. Kevin botched that. Let me chop that out. Bobby was amazing. No edits on Bobby. That's her notes usually every single week, right, Lacy?
Yeah, basically. Kevin did this again, and Bobby's a perfect saint, angel, goddess, woman. Yeah, that's basically the thought process every time.
Oh, so Lacy, thanks so much for joining us. Now, Lacy, let's talk about your voiceover world for a second, and then we'll get into the ancillary areas where you make some extra cash. But tell us, how long have you been doing voiceover and what areas are you working in?
Sure. So that's a little bit of a complicated question about when did I start? Because technically, I learned that the voiceover world was a thing back in 2015, but I was a senior in high school at that time. So I had these college goals in mind, and I still didn't fully understand what voiceover was. I just knew it was something I wanted to pursue, so I went to college, and did the whole thing, and I guess I officially dipped my toe in 2018 when I got to become a intern for Christy Bowen through my college, which was incredible. Yeah. Her ex-husband works at my college and was really great friends with a professor that I was really close with who knew that I wanted to do voiceover. Christy was like, I need an intern for a summer, and, connection to connection, it was like, yeah, I would love to. So that's how I got started with that. But then my own voiceover career, I graduated college in 2019, got married January of 2020, got back from my honeymoon February of 2020, and then the world shut down. So I was working at a radio station at the time, and we all went remote, and I was like, well, I guess now's as good of a time as any. And so I started really digging into voiceover as the art, not just being an assistant, being an editor, being a writer, stuff like that. And I was officially able to go full time in 2021.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is really cool. And how much time do you devote to auditioning and marketing your own stuff as opposed to doing the ancillary income?
Marketing, not as great as I would want it to be. I do a lot of cold emailing. I'm not a big social media person. So I don't post on social media all that often, but I do a lot of direct marketing, and I dedicate a bit of time every day. It depends. Sometimes it could be as little as 30 minutes. Sometimes it's as much as 4 hours, depending on how much research I'm wanting to do. Because I don't outsource that kind of stuff for myself, because since I'm full-time voiceover, I primarily am doing commercials and e-learning right now, which are typically more short form. So once I get those knocked out, I can spend as much time as I want on auditions and direct marketing, not through social media, mostly just lead generation and then sending out my own emails.
Yeah. Kevin, I don't know if you knew that I had reached out to Lacy. I'm the voice of a kids network overseas, and they were looking to find another female voice, and so I sent them 3 different female voices, and Lacy was one of them. Lacy did a bang up job, but they told me, and I don't think I'd ever told you this, Lacy, they said that they wanted more of a promo announcer type thing, but Lacy is perfect for the actual cartoon characters. And they said, so they said, tell her to definitely keep pursuing that, because that's a great voice for that.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's so sweet. I didn't know that. Oh, what great feedback.
That is super cool. Now, Lacy, so you do the voiceover stuff, and you kind of apprise us what's keeping you busy in that world with the marketing and, the different e-learning projects and things of that nature. But what are you doing to make extra money around the fringes of voiceover?
I'm doing a lot of different things because I can't really sit still, and I love the world of voiceover so much, and there's so much to it. I do copywriting for demos and blog writing and website SEO enhancement when it comes to writing about sections or keeping things fresh on a website. I do audio editing, not just for this podcast, but for long form narrations like medical and stuff like that. I still do some personal assistance, with Christy Bowen. Back when I was her intern, when I was physically living in Tennessee, I would go and actually help run errands, run cables, do physical things, just helping out in any way that I could. I recently got to do some dialogue editing for a video game that I was in. Basically, I did the part. And then I was like, yeah, and if you ever need any help, this was a great project. I also do audio editing. Just let me know, if there's anything I can do. And they came back to me a couple days later, and they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, can you just clean up the audio? And I got to be credited for that at the end. So, anything. I do audiobook proofing and prepping, which is, you read the book and you can let whoever's going to be recording it know what's happening in each chapter. These are characters that are popping up, and these are what their accents say, and this was the description that was given. Here are going to be a couple words that you might have some trouble pronouncing, so here's the phonetic spelling of it. It's just kind of proofing and prepping so that way you can make the job easier for whoever's recording, because that's long work to do, just raw dogging it, So, and I think that's probably about it. Oh, I do acting, regular acting, not just voice acting. I get a lot of that work on Upwork, and I had this really weird interaction where a guy asked me to do an interview for him over the phone, to act as somebody who worked for his company and give an interview to somebody and give him the feedback on my impression of it, I mean, that person ended up getting the job, and I got paid $200 for it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just anything and everything. I put my feelers out wherever I can because I suck so much at social media. I really heavily rely on personal connections. So whenever I meet somebody, I try to be very genuine. I try to make real connections and then follow up. And that's really how I get a lot of my work, is just word of mouth and trying to be super chill about everything, I guess.
That's one of the reasons you moved to Texas, right? Just because you are good at those in-person communications. And didn't you move down there because of the animation scene?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I moved out here because I want to pursue anime dubbing. And a lot of the studios out here don't work remote unless they need something incredibly niche. And I'm a basic white girl, as basic as they come. So if I wanted to be out here doing stuff, I needed to be in person and show up and do the work and meet the people and shake the hands and, become friends with everybody. So yeah, totally the social networking was the whole reason I packed up everything and moved out here.
This is Heather Bell, voice actor, and I can tell you you've made an awesome choice listening to the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell. I know you're gonna enjoy it.
Lacy,
Wow.
what is it, when you've been doing this ancillary income stuff, what is it that you have learned along the way that maybe you wished you had done differently in terms of your relationships or building the foundation of that extra work? What I'm looking for is basically advice that you could give to somebody that is coming up and that may want to pursue some of these opportunities. What have you learned along the way that you might do differently or that you could share with others?
I would say confidence in yourself. Genuinely having pride and confidence in your skills and abilities. I went to college for writing. That's, my degree is media management. And so a lot of my classes were copywriting and blog writing and writing essays. And one of my minors is intercultural communications, which, focuses pretty heavily on writing still. And when I was first jumping into what can I do outside of voiceover, a lot of my fears kept me from accepting jobs or kept me from following up with somebody that I knew could, we could have had a flourishing friendship that could have been mutually beneficial in both directions. And just thinking, oh, well, I'm so new, or I don't have a license in this, or I don't have, the title of this. And especially coming out of college and immediately going into the pandemic, I don't have a lot of what some people would refer to as real life work experience. Like, I worked at Starbucks for 8 years, and that was what I did through high school and college. And then I finally got, my big girl job at a radio station, and I was only able to work there for a year until, very tragically, my boss passed away. Funny enough, not from COVID, from a heart condition. And when that happened, a new manager took over, and we vibed okay personally, but they started taking away a lot of my work. And so I was like, well, what am I even doing here? And so I just don't have, or I always felt like I didn't have enough professionalism. I didn't have enough time in a system. I didn't have all of these things under my belt to say, hey, I can do this, trust me with these things. And I wish that I'd just been more vocal, more confident, taken a lot more pride in what I can do, because I can do things. And a license and a title, doesn't mean anything if I've got, great people around me who trust what I can do.
Love that.
That's the thing about the pre-pandemic. So many voice actors were going into the studio, and they let the booth directors and everybody else handle a lot of their work. But now we're reaching out to people like you who have all this experience to offer us that ancillary income, and so we're so happy that you're there. I just wish that I could do more of that ancillary income myself.
Oh, Bobby, you need to be hiring those. You don't need those.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I wish I could do them, but I need to hire them.
Oh, okay. Yeah. My bad.
Hi, Bobby.
Bad.
My name's Lacy Deline. I do a lot of different things like copywriting and audio editing and personal assistant.
I know you're good.
I love it. Well, Lacy, thank you so much for your time, and thanks for everything you do with the podcast and keeping us on point and making sure we sound good.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on. This is so fun.
And Lacy, how can anyone reach you if they want to hire you to do some of their extra jobs?
Yeah, sure. So my website is Lacy Deline VO, And the Deline is spelled Deline. And I'm also Lacy Deline on all social media platforms, so you should be able to find me anywhere.
Love it. Thank you again,
Thank
Lacy.
you, guys. It was so fun being here. I love y'all.
Oh.
Thanks, Lacy.
Bobby, that was a very fun and informative episode of the Making Waves VO podcast.
Yeah, and it's interesting. All three of them pretty much said the same thing when asked how voice artists can improve. And they all said just either care about what you're doing more or make sure your audio is, the best of the best. So it's really those simple things that can make you stand out.
Yeah, I love it. And be confident in yourself. Be confident in your own abilities. And and there's no shame in humbling yourself and seeking work. If you need those opportunities to make the ends meet, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong.
No, not at all.
I'm telling you, if I didn't have other things going on, I'd be doing whatever it takes to keep the income coming in. Whatever it takes.
Oh, yeah.
I'll stock shelves at Publix. I'll, whatever whatever it takes, man. That's just the mindset you got to have in this day and age we live in. My goodness. Well, Bobby, I think we've got another successful episode under our belt.
Yes, we do. And we're going to be bringing on a couple of really good guests in the next couple of weeks. We've got a very, very talented and successful female voiceover actor that's going to be joining us.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. We're not going to release it yet. We're going to keep you in suspense for the moment. We're confirming her availability.
Yes.
Very good. The Making Waves VO podcast presented by Full Compass, fullcompass.com.
We know VO.
See you next time, Bobby.
Bye.
The Making Waves VO podcast is produced by K2 Media Productions with hosts Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell. Sound design and editing by Jayson Traver. Production assistance by Lacy Deline. Publicity and social media by Shannon Scott and Silas Phillips. Be sure to subscribe to the Making Waves VO podcast on your favorite platform. For all episodes, merchandise, gear, and more, visit makingwavesvo.com. Until next time, I'm AJ McKay. Keep making waves.